Check her out at her website, lynnwoodland.com. And with that, Lynn Woodland.
Well, welcome to October. This is the month that we celebrate death. I mean, especially this week. We have Halloween coming up, and right after that, there's the Day of the Dead. And in older traditions, this is the time of year considered the time when the veil between this world and the next is the thinnest. And it's thought that this is the best time to honor and remember those who've passed on, and to even make contact with those who've passed on, to invite visits with our loved ones. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. But I do first want to dispel any spookiness that people might feel around that, because we're not going to get the Ouija board out. We're not going to intrude upon the dead. We're not going to open portals to weird places. What I mean by the veil is really that limited perspective, our human perspective, that essentially gives rise to our whole experience of separateness, of limitation, and ultimately the finality of death. A truer picture of reality that comes both from mystics and the world of science, from quantum theory, from those who've had near-death experiences, and from a lot of the newer research on the mysteries of consciousness are showing that everything is connected, that consciousness exists outside of the body as something separate from our physical form, and that it never dies, and ultimately that everything is love, and that love is eternal. I could go on and on. I could do a whole session about that, but that will be another day. But in a nutshell, spiritually, we're all connected, and we're always in relationship. We always have been, we always will be. And the reality is that there are no separate worlds, that we just have limited perception. So we are going to invite a meeting today, and I want to say something that one of my colleagues has been talking about for a couple of years now. That's Reverend Deb Tiramani. She's an old friend. She's a New Thought minister. And she's been psychic since childhood. Even as a little tyke, she saw angels, she saw dead people. She just sees all the beings who are around us, but not in physical form. And what she has noticed in the last couple of years is that our loved ones and spiritual helpers on the other side are practically clamoring to reach out to us and help us and support us. And that's happening because they're so grateful that we have chosen to incarnate in these times. If you've noticed, we live in kind of unusual times. My own personal insight about that is that we really are in the midst of a speeded up evolutionary leap where we are stepping up our vibration, our consciousness to a higher level. And what happens, what that looks like is all kinds of stuff is breaking down at the same time that all kinds of things are coming together. And that's stressful. We can't even turn on the news anymore without it being kind of an instant headache. So there's a lot going on right now, and those who aren't incarnated just want to help us in any way they can and support us into our highest path. So that's the purpose of our meeting today. This is also a wonderful way to resolve and heal anything that didn't feel whole at the time of somebody's passing. It's a way to meet without I think the theme this month is all about the masks we wear. And personally, I think our human personalities, with their limited perspective, their limited vision, I think that is the ultimate mask. And the kind of meeting we're having today is about stepping beyond that mask into our highest self to connect with the highest self of somebody out there who we love, who loves us, who may have some important message for us today, some help for us in the near future, even currently. So let's just get right into that. We have a few different pieces of what we're going to do today, but this first piece is just a bit of a meditation to just still our minds and go into more of a higher vibrational state. So just get comfy in your seat and close your eyes. I'm just clearing the last of a cold today, so I'm going to hope I don't cough too much in your ear. But just let your attention turn inward and take some deep, full breaths. Just inhale deeply. And exhale just as deeply. And just let the rhythm of your breath draw your attention inward, stilling your thoughts, taking you into a peaceful state of mind. Just softly let your awareness expand to include your higher self, that beautiful, radiant being of light part of you that is your true self. The part of you that's always whole and perfect and undisturbed by all the ripples and issues of human experience. And in that awareness, you're very relaxed, very present. And just allow to come to mind an important person in your life who's no longer living in a physical body. This might be someone you deeply miss. Could be someone who died with things unresolved between you. It could even be a distant ancestor whom you would like to meet. And as you relax and open your mind, just see who pops into your awareness. It might be just the person you expected, or it might be someone else who you weren't as aware of, but who wants to make contact with you and is making their presence known. And just take a minute to see who's there. And if there's more than one, just invite one of the group to step forward. And just as you bring only your highest and wisest self to the meeting, so are you now experiencing only the highest self of this being. And of course, you may recognize familiar personality traits, yet the illusions of the physical realm have just fallen away, so that any struggle or pain or misunderstanding that may have been part of your human relationship, these just fall away. They're not relevant anymore. Because now only love ties you together, as well as a deep desire to serve one another's highest good. So greet this being, both the familiar person you knew and the totality of the soul you may not have been aware of in the context of your human relationship. And if there's anything you need to say to this soul, just imagine speaking your message as though this person is right there with you, hearing every word. Use this opportunity to share any feelings or messages that were unspoken at the time of death. And know that it's never too late to extend forgiveness and love. And let this being speak to you, because they may have a response to your words, or they may want to share with you why they came today. There might be a gift or a message or some form of healing or assistance that they've come to give you. So just be open. See what's offered. And it's okay if you feel like you're just making all this up, because imagination is often how we receive intuitive and psychic impressions. So that's fine, just make it up. And give attention now to the relationship you had with this person, regardless of whether it was a challenging relationship or a supportive one or both. Imagine there are lessons that the two of you came together to learn. Maybe beyond anything you ever dreamed when you were in the midst of it. So look at it now from the wisdom of your higher self. What did you most appreciate about this person? What was this person's greatest gift to you? And you can see that even challenging experiences offered blessings in disguise. Sometimes these are the things that help us to deepen and develop strengths, adding just all kinds of facets and brilliance to our soul, even when our personality may not understand it at the time. So let yourself see through any conflicts, any limitations or dramas your personalities may have enacted. And see this person as a soul with their own lessons to learn. And that at the spiritual level, conflicts and separateness that we experience at the physical realm just don't exist. That there have never been intentions to do harm or withhold love between souls. Only agreements to help each other learn lessons. So, before we complete our visit, just ask this soul how they wish to be of help to you now? Around what areas of experience can this soul best serve you? Why have they come to you now? What part of your path can they help you with? And then just leave that question out there. Don't have to get an answer right this second. Just leave it out there. And just gently bring your meditation to a close. Just invite this friend, this loved one, to stay with you a bit longer. Just hanging out. Maybe sitting in a seat nearby. And then just bring your attention back to your breath. Take some deep breaths. Open your eyes. So, synchronicity has just a wonderful way of giving the spirit realm vocabulary. You know, maybe some of you were at the psychic fair yesterday, and maybe a tarot reader pulled cards for you and just gave some symbols and vocabulary to what's happening in your life right now. It's a wonderful way to sometimes get past some of the filters, some of the blocks of that human perception. So I've brought, this is one of my synchronicity tools. It has a lot of vocabulary in it. Each one of these little messages are different. There's maybe, I don't know, 120, 140 of them. I'm going to pass these around and pick one randomly with the idea that this is your loved one's response to you. I'll start one basket on this side, I'll start one basket on that side, and when it's come over here, let's this one go up and around. And Bill, could you maybe hand these out to this side and maybe start it? We'll start this one in the front, and it'll, no, go back there. I didn't think this out very well, did I? Go back here, start from the back, go to the front, and then let the people in the front start it. And you all will start from the back, and you'll. So as you pick these, imagine that this is your loved one saying, okay, here's why I've come to you today, and here's how I would like to just support your highest good in this part of your life. And while they're going out, while they're going around, we're going to do something else. We're actually going to have an Ask the Psychic portion now. We're going to have our own Long Island medium experience here. And you know, as time permits, we'll let a few people stand up and just share who came to you, or maybe who you might want to hear from. And you won't tell a lot. You'll just say, well, it was my mother, passed away 10 years ago, or it was my friend who died last year, or don't tell us the whole novel-length version of your relationship. You know, just who it is, maybe a first name would be helpful. So first name, their relation to you, just in terms of friend, mother, lover, that's all. And the psychics are all going to be you all. You all. I see some startled looks there. Now, even if you don't think you have an intuitive bone in your body, I've actually done exercises like this over the years, you know, many times. And it's amazing how, especially when we do this work in groups, because that tends to raise the frequency. So even if you know, when you're meditating at home, if you've noticed, sometimes it's easier to come out and meditate with a group than it is in your own little corner where you're thinking about, you know, your grocery list and everything else. Well, we do have a way of really raising each other vibrationally. So you might be amazed at how things just start popping into mind. And as I said, imagination is often what opens the door to intuition. And you don't all have to say anything. We'll let one person at a time stand up, and we'll get a few people giving, input as it comes to you. I've done this, as I said, a number of times, and often in my workshops when I do this, I'll break people into small groups, maybe 4 in a group. And I remember once I did this exercise with a group who'd never done anything like this before. And, some people didn't even believe in all this stuff, it's kind of woo-woo weird stuff. And there was one woman who was really, just stifling what kept coming to her. She did not want to share it because in her group they were tuning in to a man's friend his beloved friend who had passed away a year earlier, and everybody could see he was still deeply mourning, deeply grieving her passing. And this woman wanted to be somber and respectful to fit the mood, and all she could see was this woman just being completely goofy, putting on one stupid hat after another, like really silly hats. And finally, she had nothing else to say, so she just said it out loud. And the man burst out sobbing. Really sobbing. The whole room, it just stopped the whole room. Everybody was looking. It took him a really long time to just settle down enough to share what had happened. Now, of course, his friend's her thing was funny hats. So the minute he heard that, it just broke his heart open. So he was able to hear other people's input and really have a heart knowing that his friend was all right and she was still with him. And she was having fun, and on the other side with her funny hat still. I know I think one of my own most amazing experiences was same exercise. I was in one of the small groups. We were tuning in to the deceased child of a woman in the group. And we didn't know anything about her other than it was a daughter. And as I tuned in, I just got this, it was truly an overwhelming feeling of love. Just so much love. And it was very wordless. It was just all feeling. It would just, I was wordless for a bit. And then what I got from this being, again without words, this being, it didn't even seem like a male or female, just this being of love communicated without words, that it never intended to come and stay and have a human lifetime. That was not its purpose. But that it did really make the sacrifice of being born to make its presence known to this woman and how much it loved her. It's hard for me to even remember the story without tears coming to my eyes. And what I didn't know until she shared afterward was that the child died right at birth, just very, very shortly after birth. And it was pre-verbal, of course, and just hearing that, something about her child's purpose really helped her let go of the sadness, see the purpose, and really be in contact with this just amazing soul. So we're going to do something like that. Is there anybody who would like to stand up and get some feedback? Yeah, stand up. And you'll have to talk loud so everybody can hear you. Oh, good. Just say the first name and...
First name is Mondi. It's my mother who died 22 years ago.
Okay. So everyone can now just relax, just kind of like we did in the meditation. And just imagine, let your imagination fill in the details. Imagine that Mondi is here with us. And what is your name?
Sarah.
Imagine that Mondi has come with a really important message for Sarah. And just see what comes to you. And when you have something, just stand up and say it.
to stand up? No, but Monty, the first thing that came, Sarah, the first thing that came to my mind is, I'm so proud of you. I just kept hearing that, I'm so proud of you.
Let's get some more. Over here. Thank you, Tina, for being a mic runner for me.
I'm Beth Joy. This is my word, what I'd like to share with Sarah, who I know a little. And I also lost my mother, although it's a different story. And the word I got, which is amazing for me because it's so wonderful, is rejuvenation. And the fine print says, you've done the work, now relax and be in it.
I'm feeling like there's some kind of project that's here right now or in the near future that your mom wants to help you with. And she's saying, you know, kind of charge me with going out and I'm not even sure what it is, like helping it all come together for you. Is there one more?
So the message I got, first was the word love, that she loves you. And then the feeling like, it's hard to explain that. And then what I get is the picture of her brushing your hair as a child. And just how mothers just, sometimes it's those little moments where you're spending the time together and she's brushing your hair and you feel loved and, you know, the caring that, and you get a chance to talk to her. So make sure you reach out and do talk to her even when you're brushing your hair these days, I think was the message for the future.
And I'm also getting something kind of motherly, almost like a finger wagging thing that's saying, be discerning, like do your homework, like, you know, don't be too trusting, be discerning. And that might be what you could charge her with, like help me with discernment. Is there one more here? Yeah.
The only thing I got when you said her name was wee.
Nice, nice. All right, is there somebody else who would like feedback? Oh, did you have? Okay, go ahead real quick.
I don't know, for some reason I saw a maple leaf. I don't know if that has any resonance at all, but maybe tree life, I don't know.
Okay. Let's have one more person. So if there are more people, you know, we can't have everybody giving feedback to everybody. If there are more people, what you can do is go find the person afterward and say, here's the message I got. Do you have one real quick? Yeah, go ahead real quick.
I just got this voice that just out of nowhere said, go on that trip. I don't know if that means anything for you or not.
So let's have another person. Is there somebody who would like to hear from a loved one? Okay, stand up.
On the theme of moms. Okay. So on the theme of moms, my mom's name was Velma, and she passed 50 years ago, so it's been a while.
Did you say 50?
Yeah.
Okay. So just tune in. And, you know, we're on the theme of moms, but you might notice as you tune in, wow, this mom has a really different feeling from that mom. Just notice that. That's your imagination, intuition speaking to you. And when you get something, just raise your hand and speak up. Okay, we got someone over.
I got a picture of her playing cards.
And over here.
I just got a sense of the phrase hard work.
Yeah, I want to echo that. I just felt like when she left, she was just tired. And she's much better now. I feel like she's actually more available to you now than she was then. She just was tired. She just couldn't go any further in her current incarnation. It's like she needed a reboot. But it does seem like she is there. Like, in a way she couldn't be before. So you might want to experiment with reaching out to her in different ways. What was your little message card?
That was about letting go of control. Certainly makes sense, but what you just said now about the rebooting, because she's very, very ill when she died and had been ill for many years. And she came in my meditation, and that's how it felt too, like she's more present now for me and others. So
yeah, I feel like there was something in her illness process. Like some of her lesson was about how to let go, and that's what created such a long, drawn-out illness experience. So she's, in a way, become a master of that. And I feel like that is something you could kind of tap her from the other side to help you with, to feel safe enough to let go.
Thank you, Lynn.
Any more feedback? Let's get one. I think there's one more out there. Yeah. Of course there is.
Since we're doing moms, of course, my mother, her name is Dolores, and she passed, it'll be 3 years ago.
Okay.
Next month.
Dolores. All right, everyone tune in to Dolores.
I heard her nickname Dee Dee, and that she was the life of the party whenever she was around.
She hosted a lot of parties, lots and lots of parties. She's an excellent host.
I feel like she's saying something about, she just keeps saying, my beautiful daughter, and she wants you to recognize your beauty, your worth, your intrinsic, like you don't have to try hard, like because she wants you to know she sees your insides and they're amazing, and it's almost like she's saying, just relax into your beauty. And that might have been part of her life lesson too, how to just relax into her beauty and, know how worthy she was. So, if you notice, these lessons go through the generations. What our parents were just really, really working on, we take a little further, and our kids take a little further. So you might just look at your parents through that light. And our, because we are all connected still, the work we do on ourselves, actually helps them. We're so connected, especially with our loved ones that way, that we really do help our ancestors by working on our own stuff. I wanted to
myself blank. I was just being without a thought, and then when I got the one message from you, it just jumped so loud. Like I was actually daydreaming off of something else when someone else was saying something to you, and then out of nowhere the thought just came, take that trip. It just was in my head. I'm just like, whoa, that was wild. And then I was like, was that for her? Was that some side note that I had from a previous conversation? And then a few people were saying something, and then you were going to turn it to another person, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know if that really was for her, because those doubtful thoughts trickle in when it comes to channeling or intuition. And then she said you can share it with the person afterwards, and so I was saying it's okay, I'll do it later, and then you said, oh, well, if you have one, do it. And so I was like, all the signs just said yes, no, this was for her to know, and so you said it did mean something to you. So Okay, so I love when that the power of that, the clarity and how like very apparent it is, just happens. It's it's a pure thing.
Yeah.
And I appreciate having that
Yeah.
experience and sharing it.
And I always say, with this kind of work, take it lightly, as you described that light state so well. If we get really serious and have to say something wise, we kind of shut it down. But just see what pops into mind. I think it's also important to receive feedback lightly as well, because even the most highly paid professional psychics are wrong sometimes. And it's important to take it in and see if it feels right to you. I mean, I did just talk to someone who basically was, I would say she was cursed by her psychic a number of years ago who told her, you will never do well with money. You don't say things like that. And she took it in. She did, and it was a very respected psychic who all her friends had seen. It's always important to just take it in lightly, knowing that everybody's wrong sometimes. And as you just shared, sometimes when you just open and let something pop in, it's right on the money. Yeah.
For what it's worth, I saw someone playing cards too. I thought it was Sarah's. Someone else said that about. I saw it was a second person. So I saw this, but I didn't say anything. Well, I saw that too. So anyway, I'm just saying I saw card playing. I don't know if it was just your mother or the other mother, but I saw the same thing. So for what it's worth, I saw card playing.
Anyone else? Yeah.
I think that is important to just be light and let it flow. So I got the message immediately for you, Sarah, but then when Ginger stood up and shared her person, I was focusing so hard, nothing came. And then nothing came. So I think it is important just to let it flow.
Take your little pink slips, and no, you don't have to take them now, but take them with you, and look at them from time to time this week. Ask mom or dad or whoever it was, how do you want to help me with this? Consider look at this area of your life and see what you need in that area, and maybe charge that person with, can you help me with this? I don't know how, I don't know what that means, but just, make it happen. I just did that with a friend of mine who passed away a number of years ago, but she's always been connected with things, objects moving around. My husband lost his glasses doing yard work. We have kind of a big yard, whole yard covered in debris. I thought, we're not going to find this till spring. I know this is a needle in a haystack. So I had a moment. I just talked to Cheryl. I said, can you help him find them? I told you to have a little conversation with her. I left for errands. You sent me a message shortly after. Found him. So, they can see things from their side that we might not see so well. Also, I just want to mention, I do an online class every week. It's donation-based. Give money if you want, don't if you don't want. But right before the class, 6:45 to 7, I'm there with a psychic medium, Emily, and we just do little mini readings for anyone who needs it. So if you leave here feeling incomplete, come to one of those, just get a little reading. We'll help you clear it up. We're not meeting this Wednesday, but almost every other Wednesday. There's information about that out there. Well, we'll help you. We'll help you figure it out. I think maybe it's time to do a closing circle. And Bill has like a little tidbit for that, too.
Good.
Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. Nothing you can save that can't be saved. Nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. Everybody. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. I told you I'd make mistakes. All you need is love, but that's okay. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Yeah, let's do this. All you need is love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Who's going to do the big one? She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Love is all you need.